There's no doubt that AI has had a considerable effect on how Google Ads and paid advertising works in the last few years. Earlier, we used to set up campaigns, find a few keywords, set up our ad creatives, and used our targeting mechanisms, and the ads would run. And the ads would run, which we later analyze the results to see if it is doing good, how it can be improvised, what changes can you do on the bidding front, etc., etc., etc. Of late, with the emergence of AI, things have become better when it comes to dynamic creatives, responsive search ads, automated bidding, and AI and machine learning algorithms have started taking data into account and they started predicting things better for you, not just with Google Ads, but across all ad platforms. Keeping that in mind, if we combine pre existing features that Google always had with the new AI powered mechanisms, let us see how you can. Here are a few hacks of how AI can heavily influence your dynamic content creation when it comes to Google Ads. We're talking about the combination of the skills that AI brings to the table, and we are going to combine it with pre existing features like dynamic ads that Google always had. When you put these things together, you will see how you can very, very efficiently come up with dynamic content creation that is powered by AI. Without any delay, let's get started. My name is Casey. Welcome to Marketing Think Tank. This is your Google Ads home screen, and this is a pre-existing account that I had. So I'm going to demonstrate what I've been talking about using this account. So let's go to campaigns, and we would pick up any existing campaign just to save time. And let's say I have a campaign called My Text Ads campaign. We would go to ads and assets. We would go to the ads screen. Now, this is where we would be demonstrating how we can create very effective dynamic content with Google Ads. This feature has always been there. And to top that, this, when combined with the AI and machine learning methodologies that Google has brought to the table, can revolutionize your ads. So, what we would be talking about now is, let us see a few pre existing features that Google already has when it comes to generating dynamic content. Most of you are familiar with this screen. There is nothing new here. This is where you would go ahead and put in your headlines and descriptions for creating your ad creatives. Now, if you go here, let's say shop books and textbooks is what you see here. So if you remove this and if you start an open brace or a flower bracket, these are the pre-existing options that you would see. Now, you could go ahead and insert a location dynamically, or you could, and there are other things that you could do as well, which I will talk to you about in a second. So you could input a city, state, country, etc. When there are people searching for keywords like shop books in Melbourne, Melbourne would automatically be inserted here as under the location here. And you could also use the state, country filter parameters. And if you want a default ad text, for example, if he's searching for something that is not there, for example, and the location would get inserted here, and the locations are used from your campaign location targeting. For example, if I'm targeting US, and if I choose this as a parameter, and if I say apply, when somebody is searching from a location that I have targeted in the US, let's say we are talking about, and if I say city and my targeting is the entire United States, if somebody is searching from New York City for shop books on Amazon, now this shop books near me or shop books around me, the new headline would read shop books in New York City. This is automatically inserted dynamically, and that is how it is called as dynamic content creation. And you don't have to restrict yourself to location. It could also be a state or a country that you choose to. So you can choose whatever you want. If a user is searching from, and if you want a default ad text, so you open up a flower bracket, choose location, and you choose the city, and by default, you would say across US, just to be on the safe side. When they're searching for a location or that you have not targeted, it would simply say shop books across US, right? Now, this is how you have certain pre-built parameters that you can automatically insert. One of them is location. The other one is a countdown. Let's open up a flower bracket and then let's say countdown, and the countdown ends on June 20th. The countdown starts 5. Now, if you say sale ends in, okay, now instead of shop books, let's say sale ends in countdown and it ends on the 20th, and the ad would automatically say sale ends in 5 days. So these are predefined filters that we already have, or parameters that we already have. Now, keyword insertion is nothing new. This has been there ever since the beginning of Google Ads. Now, default text is, let's say, across US, right? And then you can choose whether it's a title case or the sentence case or lowercase. I'm just going to leave it at sentence case and I'm just going to say apply. So sale ends in, if he's searching for a keyword, now let's say buy books on, right? If that's my headline, if I have a list of keywords, let's say history, philosophy, and geography, but he's searching for buy children's books, which is not there as a part of my keyword list, in that case, a default ad text would get inserted, which would be across US. So basically, these are predefined filters that we always had with Google Ads. So this is how you would go ahead and create your dynamic content on Google Ads, and this was with responsive search ads. Now let's see something a little more interesting. So let's go back to the screen, come back to creating a new ad. Right now, I don't want to create a responsive search ad. So let's go to a specific campaign. Okay, so let's go back to the ad section, and if I am trying to create a new dynamic search ad, this is specifically for creating dynamic search ads. I'm just choosing a dynamic ad group here, and you have to create a dynamic ad group to be able to use dynamic ads, otherwise you cannot go ahead and create dynamic ads. For example, if you have a search campaign with a standard ad group, you cannot create dynamic search ads. That is the reason you would not be able to see it in certain campaigns. Let's go to my text ads campaign, right? And if I try to create a dynamic ad here, I cannot see it because this ad group is a standard ad group, and I would have to go ahead and create a dynamic ad group to do that. Let me show you how to do that. So you go ahead and create a new ad group. Do you see this? So this is standard, but I have to create a dynamic ad group to be able to create dynamic ads. So let's say Amazon.com, right? I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm just going to name it as dynamic ad group, right? Use exact URLs. I'm just going to say www.amazon.com. That's about it, right? You add it and then you save and continue. So here I have a dynamic ad group ready. If you notice, a dynamic ad group will have dynamically generated landing page, dynamically generated headline, dynamically generated display URL. This is where you would go ahead and create dynamic content if you want, similar to what we had done in the past with responsive search ads, where you just use a flower bracket to see what happens. I'm just going to do the same thing here, and you see there are different functions that you will see here. Countdown is something that we've already seen. Ad customizer is just about based upon certain attributes. We will come back to that in a second. And the next thing that I would want to talk about is there's an if function. So if your traffic is coming from a mobile device, then you can go ahead and show something, let's say using a mobile, so that you can personalize it more. And if otherwise, they're just going to say, okay, simple. Let's say that you are looking at, so let's say you're Domino's, and you have a very, very, you want to push your mobile sales up, mobile app installs up. So you have a customized offer, whereas if somebody comes from a mobile app or a mobile device, you want to give them a discount, and you also want to show things like install the app, right? So if somebody is coming from a mobile device, you would want to show a 20% off on all pizzas. Otherwise, you're just going to say get great discounts on mobile app or on the Domino's app. Right? So this is how you can customize who sees your ad and what they see when they're coming from a mobile device, etc., etc., etc. So this is how you would customize a dynamic search ad. All orders above, let's say $10, right? And this is just for demonstration, so I'm just going to save and continue. So when you create a dynamic search ad, okay, this is a dynamic ad group. Let's try and see what the ad looks like. So I'm going to the dynamic ads. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Your headline will be automatically generated. Your display URL and your landing page will automatically be generated. And this is a condition that you have set up that if people come from a mobile device, they would see 20% off on all pizzas in the description, or they would see great discounts on Domino's mobile app. As simple as that, right? Now, this is done, so I'm just going to cancel it. Okay, this was all to do with pre-existing filters. Now, how do you create your own custom setting, custom attributes, custom filters, etc.? That is when there is something called as data feed that comes into picture. You need to have a data feed created for your custom attributes to be customized and content to be dynamically generated. So how do you do that? Is you go to your tools and settings. There's something called as business data. This is where you would go ahead and upload your data feed. You see this is already add data feed. So I'm just going to create a new data feed. This is not ad customizer data. This is not page feed. I am going to need a dynamic ad feed. So I'm just going to do that. And you can choose it for any pre-existing industries if you want, or you can simply come to custom and start from scratch. And if you want, because you have no idea of how the feed should be, what format it should be, what you could do is you could download a custom feed template that Google gives you and open that template. I'm just going to drag it down so that for you to see it better. So this is how Google gives you a feed that you can go ahead and fill in your data, and then you can start uploading your custom fields here like ID, item title, your URL, the image URL, blah, 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 right? So you could download this custom data feed template and you could do it yourself. And I have done it, and I'll show you in the upload history. So there is something that I've already done, and it is already there in my data feed. So I've called it this. So this is my data feed with with just one test entry that I have put in, and I can bring in these fields into my ad text dynamically if I wanted to. So how do you do that? Is once you have done all this, you have to go back to your dynamic ad group that you have created. So this is the dynamic ad, right? So you need to create a new dynamic ad. Go here. Okay. Okay, let's create a new dynamic ad. And when you're creating this dynamic ad, let's remove this. And I want to open a flower bracket. I am not going to do a countdown timer. I'm not going to do an if function. I don't want to do it with the ad customizer also. Remember, this is a data feed that is very specific to my product, and I have uploaded it in the business data, which means it's there in my Google Ads account. So to bring that up, what I need to do is I need to do a flower bracket, and I'm just going to say equal to. It pulls up the attributes column here. Okay, there's two brackets by mistake. So let's go from the start again. So open a flower bracket, say equal to, and it brings up a list of attributes here from the feed that is already existing. There is a template that you have to follow, which is you have to start with the feed name, the data name, dot the field name. Let's say ID is something that I have, and do this, and you need to have a default ad text. It's ID of the product. Let's say Puma jeans, or let's say all shoes, right? So this may be a little confusing, but hold on until I come back to you in a second. So let's do it all again. Let's also look at the feed that I was talking about. Okay, now this is the feed, right? Now let's remove, these are all the comments, so let's remove them. Okay, now my data feed here has fields like ID, ID2, item title, final URL, etc., right? So this is a field which is ID, and I'm just going to say Puma. So this could be anything. This could be your inventory, this could be your product details, this could be your pricing, it could be anything, right? So if this is my feed, okay, and there is, I'm just going to save it. Okay. Now the ID has fields like Puma and Nike. If I want to bring these fields dynamically onto my ads, what I need to do is I need to open a flower bracket. What is the name of the upload that I have? Let me also show that to you. Okay. Okay. The name of the data sheet or the data set that I have is called, this one. It's called TESTE, right? So I need to go back to my dynamic ads. So create a new dynamic search ad. Okay. So these are automatically done. So I need to open up a flower bracket. I need to say equal to, and I need to start this with the data set name, which is TESTE. And if you look at the syntax, it says data name dot attribute name and then default text. So I'm just going to say TESTE, and the attribute name that I have there is ID, because that's the name of the column. And if that is not existing for some reason, or if that doesn't get populated, I also need to give a default text so that this text will appear no matter what, right? And for sale, right? So that would be my description for the new dynamic ad that I'm creating. So what would happen is, since there is data, so I have come up with my own product list or the list of inventory that I have, and I am bringing it automatically, dynamically onto my Google, onto my Google ad text, onto my Google dynamic ad texts, right? Now, this is all fine so far. Now, the beauty of this is Google is going to use this data feed or data from the feed that I have uploaded. It is going to use its AI and machine learning methodologies or functionalities to look at the best combination of the product that has been sold in the past, looks at the user's previous history, purchase history. It automatically adjusts the bidding according to that, so that it capitalizes more on the probability of a sale happening depending on a previous history of the customer. So this is how it will optimize for conversions for me based upon the dynamic content facility functionality that Google brings in and the AI and ML methodologies that it is bringing to the table now. So combining both of these together, I would have an AI-powered dynamic content generation system in place that will help me get more conversions. Thank you so much, and I hope all you businesses and marketers out there go ahead and start doing this for your businesses or for your clients' businesses. Thank you so much. See you again. My name is Casey. Until then.